Um, so hello, who's ever watching this. I like everyone else. I'm sort of feeling the low end of everything and whatnot. I turned 30 on July 22nd, and I don't think this birthday was a letdown, really. Old friend of my father's, Joyce, she's trying to advocate for me, and she took me out to a restaurant, an Irish restaurant, and I had a free birthday meal, and we went to see Superman, and it's like, enough's enough, don't want to feel alone, you're not going to be alone this time, so it's been about 5 hours or whatever, from 7 o'clock till midnight, and that day, it was kind of just sort of weird news about that with Ozzy Osbourne. Even last night, I was watching an Osbourne podcast interview with all of them, Jack, Kelly, and Sharon, and Ozzy definitely was in his chair, so yeah, so quite a significant kind of thing that Ozzy passed away, died on my 30th birthday. So I believe that he was somewhere around in his 50s when I was born. So yeah, I got to see the, well, I saw Mama, I'm Coming Home, that video thing. I didn't see the other songs he's done of that. Oh no, I might have seen Crazy Train or something. But it was just kind of crazy and emotional, and everyone was so emotional. I have some stuff with Black Sabbath, and not a heck of a whole lot, but some, like this definitely. I got this when it came out, his Scream album. So, this was after Black Rain, and this does not really look like him, but I guess it is. Maybe it's a stand-in or something. But I have been feeling like I've lost someone that I feel like I've lost someone that I've really looked up to, and this is the only Black Sabbath album I got, so it's okay. This is okay. It's not super standout, especially as far as Black Sabbath goes. It's nice they got to do their thing one last time. And then I've got Tony Iommi's book. I've not run through it. I still have Derek Wimbley's Sum 41 memoir book that I'm still reading. Probably got this like for $5 when HMV was still around. Concert DVD, Black Sabbath, live gathered in their masses. They have a CD concert and they have a DVD concert. The CD one is a little bit more narrowed down. Let's see here, they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. They do like 15 and a half songs, including Sabbath intro. I don't know why I decided to come back and do one last album tour, and then they did a farewell thing without Bill. I was listening to Lay Your World on Me, but one that really stuck out definitely from his Scream album was Life Won't Wait. There's definitely Let It Die, Digging Me Down. Life Won't Wait really, it's pretty heavy. It's probably one of his heavier albums he's done. All the sheepdogish dog look-alike members of Black Sabbath, like Geezer's looking like a little terrier. Yeah, definitely would splash water on himself. Now he's got some tea and some other things there, so could have been sober. Probably that's what I've heard is on the stage he was pretty much sober. Younger years, questionable. But I really loved Ozzy's music. I think I was more of a fan of his solo songs instead of Black Sabbath. But, I do really like Naomi. I do really like Geezer. I'm not sure for Tony for guitar play, but when I did play bass, I really like Geezer as far as, but he's always on point when it comes to the bass playing, and he lives a very extreme life when it comes to his diet. I think he's a vegan. Then I have God Bless Ozzy Osbourne. This documentary was put on and made, and I think directed, maybe not. No, it wasn't directed. But Jack Osbourne presents it with Mike Fleiss, who, that was the guy that directed it, was Mike Fleiss. So Zakk Wylde is in it, Henry Rollins, Tommy Lee, Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne. And this came out in 2011, and it's pretty good. It's kind of emotional because he had some kids, and maybe even fostered some kids before he met Sharon, and couldn't remember their names. I remember at the end, he went down to his hometown and Birmingham, and especially in Life Won't Wait for You, it's hitting differently now because the video where he's walking a cemetery and then he's sitting in that the funeral mobile, and then he's kind of with his glasses, like, life won't wait for you. Like, he's probably kind of, I think, indicating that he had some bad decisions back in the day, and life won't wait for you, my friend. You gotta, live your life, but it won't wait for you because you're Stalin. But then, so I got to see Black Sabbath 2 times. I can maybe show you a little bit of some of the tickets that I went to go and see. But I've just been thinking a lot about it. Like, even Ozzy, he says he doesn't want it to be like a cry fest or anything like that. Like, to just kind of celebrate his life and stuff, and just And I've heard it, this little thing on Joe Rogan recently, that there was a guy on there and said that being told like Ozzy's not here anymore and some of these other people, it's almost like there's no vanilla. We just ran out. There's no vanilla in the world anymore. And you know, I don't really always want to be around. Like it's hard trying to definitely hard trying to make a name for yourself, and when people kind of always want to kind of slow you down or instigate or be a little bit of a barrier in the maze that you're going into. I think maybe one of the first things that I got to see of Ozzy actually was when my father took me when I was like probably 5 years old, and I didn't even know who the hell Ozzy Osbourne was. So that was one of my first experiences seeing him for the first time, like when he did that cameo. Yeah. I mean, I was supposed to go see kind of my so-called family in California for a few weeks, and I begged my dad to go and to get tickets to see Black Sabbath. I think they were over $100 each for tickets or something. So probably like came to like $300 for, well, and then you know the hotel and the travel, the trip on the way there. So you know a few hours just to get there. But then he kind of shut up. He was kind of groaning and moaning about it and being like, you know, how much is this going to cost me? All this thing. But I've just been so exhausted just with my own thing lately, and just thinking a lot about this, because I remember saying years ago that when Ozzy goes, I'm not gonna function well. I'm not gonna handle it well. I remember saying that years ago, and now it's happened. But it's sort of like, huh? Because I was scootering back, and then it was so strange, because I was playing couple of his songs on my speaker, and with me, I'm not 100% psychic, and I don't think anyone is. There's no such, you know, the guy that was hosting Gladstone's was not even believing me. That you kind of get kind of a feeling, a kind of a sixth sense, you know. Then you kind of it's not just a sensitivity, but you kind of feel things, and kind of, you know, I had a nightmare like over a year ago when I had a police incident when they arrested me for just having a White Claw that I couldn't finish, and they just tackled me for it. So previous to that, having that incident in the right place, wrong time, wrong place, wrong time, I had a kind of a crazy nightmare of the police trying to locate me and find me for no reason at all, and I just woke up like, what the? And now I kind of have more nightmares like it's directed at me, like victimizing me, and a thing where they're taking things out of proportion, or they're, you know, just trying to make my post-traumatic even worse than it is, really. And then that's in the dream side of it. So God, I need to have some water. Yeah, but I was pretty lucky and fortunate that I got to see him in Black Sabbath in Vancouver a few times, when I was 18 and when I was 21. So those are, yeah. The last time was in 2016. They were supposed to play in February, and then heard a thing that that was sort of postponed and canceled, and I just couldn't really believe it. So, and then it was put off for a month because Ozzy was going through like pneumonia or some sort of thing. And the first time I saw them in 2013, I think the ticket does say August 22nd of 2013. So I wish I had a shirt, a tour shirt of that exact show that I went to, but I don't have it anymore. But I think there are some videos that I got, and they're probably really bad recordings of it, which really sucks. But I think I remember recording After Forever and maybe Paranoid or something. So I was supposed to be up on the balcony, and then I thought this bald-headed guy is coming up to get me for recording, and he asked me and this older acquaintance that I went to the show with the second time, and he's like, "Are you guys together? You guys want to sit closer to the stage?" And yeah, he put us the second row on the right hand side, so I was closer to Tony. The first time I was on like section 119 or 9 or 10 levels up, and on the right hand side with, near Geezer, kind of looking on a kind of little bit of an angle. But the second row, yeah, no matter what kind of concert, you should really wear earplugs. And yeah, I mean, I kind of get emotional about every kind of thing, but not all celebrity, not all big legendary name people, hit you in emotions and make you think a little bit like, whoa, like I was hearing this guy sing ever since I was a baby, right? So, and kind of hearing it late a little bit, but not too late. Like he was probably, he's me at the 76, and I'm 30 now, so I think was he maybe 46 years older? So maybe he was, maybe he was like 40. I think 46. That sounds like crazy. I thought it was like 50 odd years or something. And he's like one of my favorite singers and artists ever. And I hear some of the bonus tracks that were on Scream that weren't included on the album. They were good. I have yet to listen to Black Rain and some of the older Ozzy albums. I've heard sections of like Blizzard of Oz. I've heard Ultimate Sin and then Osmosis and the one that Dreamer's on as well. Day after my birthday and the day that he died, I just decided to do Dreamer. I know Dreamer from the back of my head, and I know how to play that one. It's a fairly easy song, and it's a really nice song, but I guess it's kind of similar in the sense of like Beatles. So with Ozzy, he was the biggest Beatles fan. So I've never been super big on the Beatles, really, honestly. I mean, some of their stuff is okay. As of more now, I've only like been listening to their last song that Paul and Ringo put together, Now and Then, and that you hear that song, a slow down pitch version of that song with reverb. That is the most saddest thing you can ever hear. And the music video is kind of weird, where they put in the green screen in some older videos of themselves. So it is way too hot inside this place. But I even said to Joyce, I said that I wish that I can just, could have met the guy and told him what I felt about him, and just the inspiration and the appreciation that I had. And I'm sure that he got that a lot from a lot of people. Like, there's Youngblood, Dominic. I'm not a fan of Dominic or whatever. I think he should ease off on the plastic surgery and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, his voice is fairly good, but I'm not a big fan of Dominic. I'm not a big fan of Youngblood. I guess he's okay. Like, I don't listen to Machine Gun Kelly or anything like that. I can really sit on that one. But she told me that you're able to, because he hears you a lot better now than when he was around, because it's all spiritual. But there are things that I'm probably gonna maybe share or post or whatever that some people don't think, and there's some people that have talked about it and probably shared about it. But there's this one video about 5 years ago, that because he was asked on Piers Morgan, he came over to the house, and then he kind of, towards the end of the interview, he asked them, like, Ozzy, do you pray? And he's like, oh yeah. And it's like, some people, go to the forest or go to the ocean and try and find whatever it is to find their, what releases them, or their God or something. So, but he's as far as I remember, he says that that he just prays before each show, and that hope everything's all well. And the crazy thing is, the last 2 weeks there was this I don't know, it was religious or spiritual, high up there celebrity friend of his that gave him a Bible, and this was in the last 2 weeks before he passed. And he was kind of asked questions. He kind of asked Ozzy questions about his sort of, faith and belief, and then he said, well, my brain's pretty fried, and I would like to study this and whatever. So he gave him like a new reader's edition or something like that. So I found that kind of interesting. But there are some things that he said probably in the last 5 or 6, 7 years that makes me think, okay, he's probably and then there's so many of these videos that say that he's a Satanist, or he did all these satanic things or whatever. As far as I know, Ozzy put that on as a show and an act for the most part. When he was on his drugs and his booze, that was something else there too. But yeah. And yeah, he's even said he's been a part of the Church of England, and yeah, he wear his cross upright. I remember a friend of mine that only made it to 16. He was a month shy of turning 17, and he had a freak accident, longboard, and got hit by a car in the start of 2014 in January. And it was my friend Kieran Martin. And yeah, at the time, in metal shop class in high school, we were a few grades different from each other. Like, I think Kieran was in grade 10 and I was in grade 12, but so when I was in grade 10, he was in grade 8. And I got to hang out with him and for a little bit, and kind of reminded me of a really young Kurt Cobain. And I made him this red cross that with a silver cross on it with rivets, and I was kind of inspired by because Ozzy's father made these four sets of these crosses and gave them to each of the band member. Sort of a thing that Ozzy's dad said to like warn off some sort of energy or demons or bad whatever. So I only made one of them, and I was gonna make, you know what? I made like a brass and bronze or brass and copper one for myself. I don't have it anymore, but I did get kind of a cool big one off Amazon, and I kind of wear it for style because I'm sort of in the gray when it all comes to that. I've not gone to church since I was 18, and I've thought about it, but it's not really my thing, really. I don't really want to be a part of anything like that, kind of. I mean, Christianity has done so much damage, to some people and, native land territories and stuff. So, and then they try to do good, but there's a little bit of, hypocrisy and being hypocritical and whatnot with it. So, but I remember just a little bit after high school, I decided what my last Sunday was going to be. So I kind of opted out and decided it was my last time doing it. So, but I've always been an Ozzy fan. I've listened like every year. There's not no year that I listen to Ozzy. I might have kind of for a fair amount of time have had my brain set on 3 Days Grace, and I'm kind of unsure with all that because even them, they're coming out with their 8th studio album in August 22nd. And with 3 Days Grace, they released their debut album on my birthday in 2003. So, yeah, I must have been 8 years old at the time. It was 2003. So, and I didn't really get into them. I used to have a friend named Tommy, and he lives in Alberta now. And I've tried to message him. I try to message some people, and they just end up, having a second guess and kind of question things and end up blocking me. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm used to it. So, especially when you're after the right kind of attention and you don't get it. But Tommy sent me a video link to 3 Days Grace's The Good Life, and that was the first song I heard. But, I kind of question about who, maybe we shouldn't have any favorites or anything, but I feel like Ozzy was a really good soul. Like, he just kind of had this kind of meant well kind of thing, and I got to go there and see him with Black Sabbath, and it was just crazy. So it was my first concert seeing like a big band like that. It was just crazy. So I got into them probably like around 2011, 2012 is when I kind of got into Black Sabbath, maybe about 2012 or something. So right when they were doing their reunion thing, but then their drummer kind of opted out of it due to so many different reasons that are sort of mumbled up. So, but good timing, like, and Ozzy had a good end, and he sounded pretty good. Then I heard that maybe he was on a maybe blood transfusion for like a month or whatever. So always remember the so many different commercials he's done, and I've just seen one where they've added him to Step Brothers, telling that interviewer the fuck off and stuff. So, yeah. When I did Dreamer, I haven't had it in me to cry in a long time, and I just sometimes there's just like, I don't know, it's suppression, depression, disassociation and whatnot, but I try to do what I can, and it's so hard where I live, you know. But after I did that cover, I was just, yeah, something came out of me, and I was just kind of crying after that. And yeah, something let out, mourning for OZZY. Even though I never really met him, but yeah, his music was just, I would listen to Dio a little bit, but no, it was OZZY for me, not Dio. So, and I don't think I had a tear running down my face with Dio at all. But with OZZY, I just felt like he was just talking more about life and how to overcome it a little bit. But then there are some sort of dark things that he addresses or questions. And all that kind of stuff was a shock factor. I mean, even as far as Black Sabbath goes, it was kind of like this shock factor. And way back then, there was a group of occult Satanists that went to outside his dressing room, or not dressing room, or hotel room, and they were lighting candles outside. And then OZZY came out and blew out the candles, and he was singing "Happy Birthday." So, and he had to kind of tell them, just like, no, maybe it had to do something with Geezer when he was experimenting and kind of interested in that kind of whole world. I'm not even sure with that. I don't know. But all those things should be personal. I mean, it should be like a question mark that you would look at someone and be like, is that person? But then you go and ask them and be like, I believe this. But then you can say like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna tell you. I think that's all kind of a personal belief, really. But at the same time, I understand the torture of being in this world and having some almighty thing not really help us. We're all saved, but we need to go through all these algorithms and all this kind of bullshit, and then we'll kind of get, so it says, we'll be judged after it, and whether or not we get to be in peace or not in peace and in harmony. So it's kind of a crazy thing. And even then, that there's been not just UFO things, but there's been strange alien encounters that the government covers up and stuff, and they don't tell us, and then this kind of rundown apartment where you got to be at, and just because it is what it is, because you live on fixed income, and you gotta kind of suffer through it. And I just don't understand why that is this world, and this world is getting even more fucked up, like, really. But I think what I've been doing is just been listening to a lot of OZZY, and yeah. But yeah, I'll remember that. The last time I saw them, I was the second row, and I got to feel the warmth of the fire machine coming up with Children of the Grave and Paranoid. I know they skipped through a few songs when the first time I saw them play, because Ozzy's vocals were not doing too well, and he kind of his voice was sounding pretty rough, and there was something where he was maybe going through pneumonia, and he didn't have like a special tea or something that one of his roadies or stage person didn't give him, and I think that was maybe the reason. But the instrumental thing was always sounded good, and Ozzy's sounded really good, and he would run every so often to the stage, and he'd always look at lyrics because he wouldn't remember them, or he's still dyslexic, and that's what he would do. He'd have like a couple of screens right there in the center. So yeah, but I just don't know what to think with it. It's kind of hard to believe, because I came back and on my birthday, and it was like, it was just what, but yeah, strange. It was just like been knocked out of reality with it. This was everyone, I'm sure, and maybe other people are having a tough time, but even Chester Bennington, one of my other favorite singers too, anniversary of his day that he died was 2 days before my birthday, over 8 years ago. And yeah, that whole death with him is a mystery, and maybe one day they'll say how Ozzy went, or what actually killed him, what actually took him out. I'm not sure if it was actually the Parkinson's, because he had an injury back in 2003 with an ATV accident, and then 2019 he broke his neck because he had a fall in the night, and that really affected him in a bad way. So yeah, it's hard to say, but he was one of my favorites. If I could find a way to get an Aussie shirt, I'm surprised I haven't seen them in Walmart or anything. But yeah, I used to have one. I remember maybe I got it at Walmart or when Target was around. I mean, it's bound to happen to anyone at some certain point of leaving this world and finding out what the next kind of thing is for everybody. But I thought he'd have a little bit more time. I mean, even Alice Cooper was talking about it. I saw a short of him saying that, it was sounding good, and he thought maybe he had just a little bit more time. I thought he was going to go into his 80s or something. Yeah, well, I've said all I needed to say on everything on it. I mean, I find it hard for myself trying to still, like, how do you write a song with thin walls where people don't really care about you in the area where you live? And it's a thing that I really hate thinking about, and I just wish I can move on from it. I really do. And I'm trying to write a song still about a friend of mine, Tanner, that's still not around, and his anniversary of his death is coming up. So I remember certain things, you know. I wish I could remember less when it comes to certain things like that, but yeah, Ozzy. Ozzy was a was a favorite of mine as far as music goes and artists and whatever, and quite bigger than life, larger than life kind of personality. Kind of came from nothing. He did, but with me, I'm still, you know. I mean, I saw a video about if you haven't found success in the amount of time when you turn 30, then just forget it. And I've heard from other people and that it's, you know, never too late to have any kind of thing at whatever kind of age. So yeah, yeah. So goodbye, Ozzy, and really, really loved going to Vancouver and seeing you and Tony and Geezer and your drummer Tommy play. Yeah, it was quite the experience for me. So there may not even be another Ozzy album unless there's something in the works that he did not finish. But it's pretty sad news because it's kind of like whoa. Um, but hearing that he's not able to walk and in a wheelchair, I mean, like what's after that really? Because I kind of miss playing in front of people too, but yeah, I mean he gets the people going quite crazy and whatever from a large distance and in a football stadium. So or soccer stadium, football stadium. As with me, I'm so disattached from everything. It's just a weird thing that's been happening. Um, yeah, and some things can be triggering some at some point. But I go back and forth with certain moods and what I'm doing. Um, yeah, I still can't believe I'm been out of high school for over 12 years and still asking for so much support and all of this. So, but yeah, I'm never gonna forget someone like Ozzy. I mean, it's just so crazy. Um, you know, the guy was quite an icon, quite a legend, and unintentionally funny. Like I was seeing an episode of Osbourne's on the podcast I hadn't seen, and there was one where I guess Sharon's father, Don, was having Alzheimer's or whatever, and they saw him one of the last times. So, and there's so many other stuff that I have yet to listen to and see of Ozzy. Haven't heard every song from him, but I've been quite a fan of, as with most of the world, right? So, um, I always wish I got to meet him, and you know, I don't know how that would really work out. Really, just all the VIP things, like oh, you get to meet him and say like 5 questions or ask them 5 questions, and then that's it. Arm and a leg just to do that. So, and even then, the whole concert thing, it's questionable because so many people record it in front of you or behind you and mess with the sound and all that stuff. So, in my last concert I went to go and see was Black Veil Brides. I finally got to see them in October 2023, so not a super long time ago. I thought I was going to go see Sleeping with Sirens over 5 years ago, and then COVID happened, and that didn't happen. I didn't go to that. So my first concert by myself was 3 Days Grace. The second time I saw them at Queen's Elizabeth Theatre. The first time was in Abbotsford. I went to see them, and actually so for me it was Black Sabbath 2013, 2016 Black Sabbath, 2017 it was Billy Talent, in 2018 was supposed to be Black Veil Brides, but they didn't show up, and that was Crown the Empire and Ask Alexandria. And then I saw 3 Days Grace in Abbotsford, and then 3 Days Grace in 2022 in Vancouver, and then finally Black Veil Brides in UBC Arena or Stadium or whatever that was, or yeah. So yeah, it's quite the concert kind of go to. I went through a handful or several already, and that all started when I was 18. So yeah, I mean, I like going to those things. Where I live, there ain't no sort of music kind of concert sort of experience I'm really drawn to. Oh, I do have the concert tickets right here. I thought I put them away in my box. So, okay, in order. Let's see here in order. Yeah. So, this was the first time I went to go see Black Sabbath. This was the concert ticket. Yeah, August 22nd, 2013, 7:30. Section 119, row I was 10 rows up, yeah. So I kept some of I taped it a little bit because I didn't want it. I was kind of worried it would kind of rip off or something. Then Black Sabbath again, 3 years after that. And row 2, seat section 404 and 105. I was 04. 104, yeah. So that was the break off piece of the second time and last time I saw them. I'm like, what's the point of seeing them again? Because you know what songs they're going to do. And I look at the set list before. So then Billy Talent. I remember there was a woman that patted me down, whacked me in the face by accident, not very lightly. But they were doing kind of a check of stuff there. Never had that with 3 Days Grace, or maybe I had that with Black Sabbath, hard to really say. So this ticket was $70. The cheapest one I've ever bought was Black Veil Brides. Ticket here. Yeah, $125 for Black Sabbath. Then this was supposed to be Black Veil Brides. I went to the show. Nothing happened. They didn't make it across the border a couple times. I got this pretty much everyone on Ticketmaster is probably place to get it. But I got this off Ticketfly. I don't know what was happening. So almost $50. This ticket. So it's not too bad. Quite a while ago, 2018. And then, lastly, but I guess I don't have the ticket. I don't know what happened with the second ticket, because I did see 3 Days Grace a second time. What the hell did I do with it? Well, this is the first time I went to see 3 Days Grace. Back December 14th, 2018 was a Friday. All the way out in Abbotsford. Yeah, so it's nice that I had some of the tickets here. I've had them in this kind of popcorn thingy that's meant for some tickets. These things are kind of, well, they are pretty significant to me. As for me, I'm going to just really try and do the best I can and give the best I can give there as far as music goes. And everything's kind of situational, and it's really hard when you've been propped up like me all my life, and you have to deal with thin walls and people who don't respect you in an apartment building. So I'm trying. As far as writing goes, I don't know. I hate the process of writing, and if it comes to me, I don't know. There can be things that like interference and all that stuff, but I don't force things out. Like, if something can happen, I would be so surprised, because I haven't written a song in over 9 years, but yeah. And yeah, I don't know if I'm at my best right now, because I need a lot of I need a lot of time to I don't know what it is, recover, some sort of, like, because it's getting to me. Isolation does get to me, whether I want to be or not. I only have enough. I only have so much energy myself, but it's crazy being 30 now. Anyways, if you've made it this far, pretty much almost an hour, and yeah, thank you. I just find it crazy that they said that OZZY's all this thing, and I don't know where the name of his title of the Prince of Darkness came from, but he'd always say, "God bless you all" at shows, and go down and kneel down after the show or whatever. I think he definitely did that the last time I saw him. Makes me kind of want to go and try and see if there's some videos where I was at that show. I remember I did record a bunch of stuff at 3 Days Grace's last show I went to, but yeah, all my channel I worked so hard on for a year and a half got taken down, and there's no warning with anything what I posted, and just posted just a video that's not really relevant, really, but had nothing to do with, you know, a concert video. But I remember I didn't I didn't save anything on any Google Pictures Drive or anything, and yeah, all of that's gone. But I was listening to still have another part to listen to of Joel Madden and Paul Stanley talk about things and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not a Kiss fan at all, and but it's interesting. Like Paul Stanley has a way of talking about things, and like, whoa, like the memories that you should have are only up in your head. That he was saying, like, if someone that you know passes away, don't get drawn and attached to a chair like it's a chair, and maybe, oh, that was my mom's chair, or maybe that was my dad's chair, or that was my, whatever, that was my son's chair, or whatever. So, and he said, just, it's, I don't think they're gonna get upset with you, like, even things that you remember or document on your phone and stuff, that stuff might get lost, and nothing's permanent. We all have an expiration date. With me, it's just, I don't get the inside of me. I find it harder and harder to talk about all this stuff openly. But this is my video journaling and whatnot, and yeah, I really really miss Ozzy, and I'm sure a lot of people do, and yeah, the guy impacted impacted, you know, me wanting to be a singer as well. You know, and even then there was like Linkin Park and Green Day. I got into them at the same time, and nothing's permanent, but you have no full control of anything like this at all. It's just a thing that we just have to go through, I guess. Anyways, not sure what to do. I have so limits amounts of money. But I managed to get, as I went through, I've got matcha green tea, and I went through that, and that's so much money. But at the grocery store, there was this thing that was a cardboard carton box of this green matcha tea. I think it's concentrated, so I'm gonna try that tomorrow. And the caffeine level is about 3 out of 5 stars, so maybe it's not too high. I tried David's tea, matcha green tea, and you don't get a lot of it. It's so much money. Like, I really like drinking matcha now. And coffee, like, instant. I've got instant decaf, and I got instant iced coffee, and both of them, I just feel like overwhelms me just having a regular cup of coffee, and I can't really afford to get anything paid for as far as coffee goes. So yeah, but if anyone wants to help me out, maybe I've made my Ko-fi account like last year. If anyone wants to do that, then you can do that. But yeah, just kind of stuck in a haze a little bit. And now we've reached an hour, pretty much. Uh, well, those are my thoughts and what I can say. I mean, I actually got to see Black Sabbath a few times, so yeah, quite the character. I dressed up as Ozzy probably, yeah, 2013, October 2013. I think I had kind of a thing and walked to 7-Eleven. Someone thought I was John Lennon or something. My hair wasn't as long enough or whatever. Kind of crazy. I remember my friend Kieran, the guy that passed away, freak accident. Yeah, I remember I was going to Valley Village and saw him there. He kind of had some sort of a speaker, some sort of thing. We were so young. I was 18 and he was 16, almost 17 to make it, and that really sucked. I think about him sometimes, but no one has hit me hard due to, well, with Tanner it was suicide and Kieran it was a freak accident, but with Tanner I just felt like I was so close with him without even getting to meet him physically. So I'm still trying to write on that, and hopefully they'll come soon. But yeah, hopefully you see where I'm coming from and what I've said throughout this whole hour. And yeah, it's just really, really, I'm gonna miss Ozzy, and I have, and I do, and it's like one of my favorite singers, like ever, 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 ever. So yeah, it's gonna take some time to process and to wind down from that. Like, there's also Robin Williams had a birthday before me. I kind of forget that we're both cancers, so he would have been up there now. So yeah, Robin Williams quite missed, yeah. But Ozzy, man, because I was kind of more into the whole musical kind of thing. I kind of stopped doing drama class with Laurie Maisie and never really got to do improv, but I'm probably going to be better at that now. But I just wanted to be a musician. So I think musicians to me kind of hit harder sometimes than actors. But no disregard to Robin Williams. I grew up, one of my favorite comedians ever. So, but I kind of got emotional with that. And then Chester was kind of bigger to me, and then this even more so. But wherever he is, hopefully he's in a better place. I don't know. I hear that all the time from people, but how do they know? I'm exhausted. I gotta wind down myself, figure out what to do tonight. Yeah, just one day at a time, I've been told. Okay. Thank you for watching, listening, and yeah. Maybe tell me when you first started listening to Ozzy, or what got you into listening to him. If you've seen the Osbourne TV show or their podcast that they recently did and whatever. If you ever got to see him perform live with or without Black Sabbath. I never got to see him do a solo thing, but yeah. Anyways, bye for now, guys.